If you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us. 'Cause now you're listening to the Rough Cut.
Hello, and welcome down to the 119th episode of this podcast. 119 times we've done this, guys.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's a lot of
It keeps
times.
going on. Once again, you'll see that we are not joined by Peter Finch, although we will be joined with him very, very quickly. He's away in Scotland. He's always on the move.
He was in America. He came home for one day. He went to Dubai.
He did.
He came home for one day. Went to Scotland.
Yeah.
Then he's coming home for one day. Then we're going somewhere else.
He just doesn't stop, that guy. But we thought you guys are probably missing him so much, we better get him on this podcast. So I think we're going to have a little chat with him now, yeah?
We are, yeah. Right. We are here joined with Peter Finch in Scotland. Where are you, sir?
I'm in Scotland at an undisclosed location. But before we start, just for anyone watching, what are you writing your notes on? What is that?
Can you see? Luckily, the camera can't see. This is a piece of it's a piece of cardboard.
Why are you writing your notes on the back of a box?
There's no paper in this studio. So
Paper all over the office. I got you all notebooks for Christmas.
You did.
But I got you notebooks for Christmas's birthday. You must have like a half a forest of notebooks, and you're writing on the back of a cardboard
I'm pretty
box.
sure I have. I have three notebooks, and yeah, I know. Do you know what? But I just wanted, it was the closest thing to me, and I thought, oh, this is all right. This is cool. But so I've got on my notes here on this, on this box that's filled with chargers. It's all part of it. All part of it.
It's just unbelievable. It really is. Kieran, oh my God. Yeah, I'm up in Scotland. I'm filming with Fryer, with Carter, and with Rick. Couple of rounds for Rick's channel, which I don't know when they'll be coming out, but I presume it'll be relatively soon. And we've got away with it, actually. The weather up here is unbelievable.
Oh, really? What? Not too windy? Or just
no
perfect?
No wind, perfect sun. I think the wind is going to get up to about literally 10 miles an hour, which around here is nothing.
Yeah.
And temperature-wise, I think early teens. So might even get down to a t-shirt. It's honestly, it is perfect. It's like a perfect spring day.
Ah, brilliant. And so what have you been up to prior to this? Obviously, you've been away. You weren't on last week's podcast. Talk to us about what you've been up to. What have you been doing?
Was it? Oh, yeah, it was just last week, wasn't it? It does feel like I've been away for ages. Went over to Dubai, so Carter organised a pro-am over there. And when we came back from Carolina, I was really not in the mood for sticking around in the cold and the wet. So Carter was doing this pro-am. I thought, a week away, playing some golf would be an absolute fantastic thing to do. So I flew over to Dubai, week-long pro-am. Did a load of filming over there, played very well at the start of the week, then started to cock it up, and then finished strong and managed to win the pro-am, which was lovely. It was only a small field. Right. It was only a small field. It was a select group of highly trained professionals, but a win's a win. So to start the year with a win is good, and I beat Carter and Fryer as well because they're crap.
That always does help for sure. So how many rounds did you play? What were the courses you played?
Played all the big hitters, actually. We did Faldo Night Golf. Then we did Dubai Creek, which is so hard. And then we did the Majlis course, so the famous one. And then we did Earth course, which is, the worst course in the world. But we finished on that. People seem to enjoy it.
The worst finishing hole in golf.
So I've expanded it now. I think it might just be the worst course.
Yeah, the worst course. Wait, wasn't that the golf course that you started 5 birdies in a row? Was that a different course?
No, it's the same course. The problem is, I started 5 birdies in a row, and as soon as I started to appreciate the course, that's when it started to go downhill. Like for the first 5 holes, I was just filled with pure, unadulterated disdain for it, and thought, you know what, I'm just going to teach this steaming pile of poo a lesson. And then as soon as I started to enjoy it, that's when it all went downhill. I thought it was me. I thought it's because I was panicking. It's thought because I got so under par, I started to pat my pants. But no, it was just the course biting back because I started to respect it.
Oh my God, it is a bit of a beast.
To get 5 under par, it's so. This has been really bugging me over the last few days because I've been putting a fair bit of work in over the winter. I want to play really good golf this year. I want to give myself a chance of getting through regional qualifying open for the very first time, at the very least, is a minimum requirement. Yeah. And I got 5 under through 5 holes and just didn't know what to do. Like pure panic kind of set in. Like I just couldn't think straight. My putts were not online. I missed a really short putt for a par. It was not good. Managed to steady the ship a little bit actually. Kind of finished 1 under through the last 9, I want to say. So I managed to steady it a bit, but so disappointing.
I know exactly what you mean in terms of like, and you know, obviously for you it would be like you're saying, like a 5 under, or if you're a high handicap or a mid handicap, like if you're like going through 5 holes and you're 5 under your handicap.
Yeah. How long am I going to be? How long am I going to be? Kieran, what time is it?
It's what time is it? My phone is.
Come say hello to Kieran on the podcast. Come in here. Come say hello to Kieran on the podcast.
This is literally live.
Kieran on the podcast. I think that's pretty clear.
Are you doing a podcast right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to do a podcast right now.
We're having breakfast. It's time for breakfast, man. It's 8:10.
Oh my God. We're not till 10 to.
10 to 9. Got to have some breakfast first. And a warm up and a stretch.
I've already done all mine. That's why I went to the gym, because I'm an athlete.
Oh my God, we got them all here.
Put a timestamp on that, Kieran, because you'll have to cut that bit out.
I'll have to cut that bit out, yeah.
Yeah. In all fairness, you might have to cut Fry just coming in out, because like this is
an absolute surprise. That's such a great photo, by the way. Like that could be the thumbnail.
this is like what a photo from a cell would look like.
What are we doing here? Oh,
We're doing a podcast.
He's actually doing a podcast.
For anyone listening, Fryer and Carter have just walked into my room. They've invaded my personal space.
You invited into your room.
I can't.
Kieran, you got poor Kieran in at work at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I'm here since 7. I've been here since 7.
Can you have a word with Joe then, please?
We don't do any work in the meantime.
Joe
Just he gets in early.
Joe does 10 till 2.
Do you want to meet you down there?
Right, we'll see you down there. We're going for breakfast.
See you, Kieran.
See you, Kieran.
See you later. You'll be in the title and thumbnail, I reckon.
Can you order us a breakfast sandwich and a coffee?
A breakfast sandwich.
And I'll just take it out.
What would you want in your breakfast sandwich?
Just bacon and sausage and egg. Just that.
Sounds like an athlete. Yeah.
So anyway,
There we go.
yeah. So sorry, carry on, mate. Got to 5 under.
No, that's all right. No, yeah, basically, well, no, kind of what I was saying, like, you know, for anyone, you know, that's been in that situation, like, mentally, you're just like, you're obviously playing amazing golf, but your head's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I doing? Like, you know, it's an interesting mental battle. You know, when you're playing really, you know, there's two ends of the spectrum, isn't it? When you're playing really badly and when you're playing really, really well. Like, it's, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's part of all the practice and the stuff that we're doing this year to try and get better in all the areas of the game. And this month's really been focused on driving. And my driving on that final day was very, very good. It's a fantastic shot, but the mental game is a part of the quest for the Open this year, like a full episode that I've got to kind of properly dedicate to it. And I have started. Like, it's not like I've completely left it by the wayside. There's things that are in motion, There are things that I'm doing which I feel like improving my mental game. But I think that was a bit of a shock to the system to show I'm definitely not anywhere near where I need to be yet. Right. Which is a bit of a shame. I mean, it's a very weird dynamic where won the Pro-Am, shot under par, and I'm really like disappointed in the round. It's quite strange because it could have been amazing. It could have been so good.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's just what do you think? What would be the next steps for that then?
I mean, the next steps definitely improve. It's more about improving mental game. It's more about improving my mental outlook. Like, for example, I can hardly look at the screen right now because you're writing on the back of a box, despite there being a million notepads in the office, and that's causing me like some stress. But I need to be able to let that go.
Yeah.
And you know, just not let it annoy me as much as it is. But you are writing on the back of a box.
Well, no, I have written. My notes are set now. We're just slowly going through them. You know, luckily the camera can't see it, so you're all good. But is it almost a case of like you get on that 6th tee, you almost just forget about it and just forget about the last 5 holes and just think, right, I'm level par again? Is it like some sort of a mindset like that?
No, there is a definite fear of. There's a fear of going low in golf. There's a fear of there's a fear of the unknown as well. Like if you get to a score, or I mean, I have been like under par. I've shot. I think I've shot 28 over 9 holes before. Like I have gone very low over 9 holes, but I've not done it like that in quite a while. And the way that I did it as well. So first hole was like a drive and a wedge to I think like a foot basically. Second hole was a driver, is par five driver onto the green, 2 putt. Second putt for a birdie was like a foot. Third hole driver wedge like a foot. Fourth hole, I ironed to the middle of the green hole, really good putt for 20 foot. Next hole drove on a par four green. Birdie putt was like a couple of feet. So I've got to 5 under really by hitting good shots. I've not been holding any putts. Like I tried to miss one of them, but it still went in. And it's like, wow, okay, I'm suddenly at this point now where I've got the rest of the round to go. So I've got 13 holes to go, and I'm already like, 5 under. And the next 2 holes as well, like it was a wedge par three and then a par five.
Yeah.
Like realistically in my head, I'm like, could be well under here. And 3 whacked the next and par the par five. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's good.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, but it's good. I mean, it's nice to know that my game's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Sort of like, obviously, where do you think now? Like, so where's the areas that you need to work on the most? Obviously, we're talking about the mental, but like, would you feel like your actual game is sort of at a place where you want it to be?
No, thing is, like, it was good, and like, there's definitely aspects of improving, but putting really needs to start picking up. It was a bit of a different one over there because like the greens were very, very grainy, and it was a very different kind of type of experience to try and hold putts over there. Like uphill into grain was like on those greens. It's very hard to describe what uphill into grain versus downhill down grain is like. The speed differential there and like being able to read and be able to understand where it's all breaking was so hard. And I wasn't the only one. Everyone was struggling that was over there. So that needs to improve. I mean, this little trip here to Scotland on slower greens, can I adapt? There's so many things. It's one of the biggest issues with golf. It's not, it's not as simple as a lot of other sports.
Yeah.
If you want to take an extreme example, and I'm simplifying something that obviously people spend their whole life perfecting, but let's say something like a javelin thrower. A javelin thrower really does have just one movement to try and perfect. Whereas if you want to be a good golfer and you want to shoot under par kind of on a regular basis, there's so many different things that you need to be good at, so many different lies, so many different situations, so many different conditions that you've got to try and understand how to play. It's tough.
It is very tough, yeah, and all the different, and and also what you're saying there about grain, like, so, some people have no idea about grain, and like,
I was going to say grain if you don't know what it is. So some grass types, their blades are a little bit thicker than, say, bent grass, and they grow in certain directions. So if you're hitting with the grain, so if you're kind of putting over 10 foot and the grain is growing away from you, so the grass is growing away from you, that putt is going to be a lot quicker than if you switch it around and put it into grain. And then when you start adding slopes into that, it just becomes a whole different ball game, quite literally.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But hey, you got your win. First win of 2025. That's the main thing. Going on to someone that also has got a win this week, I want to talk about Viktor Hovland with you, because that guy is wild. I do. Because I'm saying it because I want your opinion on Viktor Hovland, because, last week he played at the Players, miscut, first round, shot an 80, looked like he was absolutely struggling and down and out. And now he's just won the Valspar. Like,
he's been playing crap for the last year.
Yeah.
It's not a massive real secret, because he is when you get him in an interview, he's relatively open and honest about his game. Like, he's obviously tried to. It's a weird situation with a lot of very good golfers when it wasn't too long ago. I think Victor was maybe 2, 3 in the world. He'd just won FedEx. He was absolutely on the best form of his life, and then decided to try and look at his swing, to try and alter it, to try and change it, to try and do a few new things, and that really set him back for a year. And I don't think we should like take this as a sign that Viktor Hovland's back. That's the thing. So a win is amazing, but people can have wins out of the blue. Like, let's not pretend that Victor's still not an incredible golfer. He is. Like, on his day, he can beat a lot of people, like that's just shown. But I don't think we should take this as a sign that he's back, because a win comes in the middle of a lot of miscuts and a lot of bad golf as well. So it's definitely a step in the right direction, but there's a lot more work for him to do to get back to where he was.
And sorry, has he? So with his swing coach, he had his swing coach, then dumped his swing coach, then got a new swing coach, then brought back the old swing coach. Like, where is he at with that?
I don't even know if he knows. But and this is the thing. Like, we could only, a lot of these things we'd only presume about what's happened, but generally speaking, looking at him, when he was at the peak of his powers, and he's still only a young guy, obviously. His swing it was one-dimensional in the sense that he kind of swung it in a single way. So he kind of big old backswing, a lot of power, came slightly over the top in relation to his target line, which it doesn't really mean a lot, but he's coming over the top, and then he hit almost like a little pull fade, which for him, that limited his ability to say like hit draws and to hit a few different shots. And I think he wanted to try and change his swing to allow himself to be able to hit lots of multiple shots rather than just like a single type. And that it's not really worked out for him yet. And it is a strange thing with tour pros that a lot of the very best players in the world go through this of, being known to play one type of shot, being known to kind of have a fade or a draw on lock, but then trying to add, different shots into their arsenal. Yeah. I often find that it's easier if you're on the outside. It seems easier if they're a tour professional who draw a golf ball, who then add a fade into their game, rather than someone who fades the ball naturally to try and neutralize their fly and add a draw in. I don't know why, but it is definitely a common occurrence.
Right.
It always seems to be a problem in that way, rather than the other way around. So
it looked like this event was very, very bunched. I mean, he won at 11 under, and then there was sort of JT at 10, and then someone else at 9, and then a big group at 8. It was a very tight leaderboard as well. So it's not like
JT was good to see, because he's another one who's been struggling a little bit over the last year or two. So see him back up at the top of the leaderboard. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
no. These guys, Hovland and Thomas, they're way too good to be languishing down. With miscuts. Yeah, they're way too good for that. But the thing is, you can never tell. We said this about Spieth.
Yeah,
Spieth's way too good to be like not winning regularly, but he's not. So it can happen. There's a lot of good players out there.
That's the one that kind of like hurts me the most at times with Spieth. Like, Spieth was so good. And he is so good, but like, yeah, to see him on the winner's circle would be mad. I think the last point I want to sort of just go on before we go back to the guys would be talking about Mansell and his win. So that's his 103rd start on the DP World Tour. I'll be honest with you, from the early sort of the early starts of the week, looking at the weather in Singapore, I didn't think that event was going to be on.
Well, it drains well, and I don't want to claim, obviously, Rich is a great golfer. He's got a great swing. He's not been playing great either. He's not obviously won on the tour before, but I don't want to claim credit, but did see him on the range in Dubai, had a chat to him, shook his hand.
You think just like
coincidence? I don't think so. He definitely got the YouTube bump.
Oh, there we go. Should we try and get him on the channel for a little 1v1 soon?
I mean, I think he owes us that much now. You know what I mean? It's just just that brief conversation that we had just inspired him
Yeah.
to greater things. We were hitting balls on the range with him, and I think he looked over and thought, "Wow, I never want to be that bad, so I'm going to work hard and really rise to the top of my game." So, Richard, you're welcome. You really are welcome. I won't charge a fee this time, but in future.
For the next one.
Know. And if any tour pros want to come shake my hand and win the next event, it's completely up to them. Yeah. It's a very tight window. It's got to be within the week.
Honestly, like this can be the thing now. This can be the start. This can be the start to something that
could be the start of something special.
It could be. This is the trend. Like if you want to book Pete in for a handshake and then go play a tour event next week.
We just need to keep building it. By the time I get to the Open, I want people to be running over to me on the range, just trying to grasp my hand first, because it obviously only works with one person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, what is it? A first come first serve basis, or what's the?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I don't listen. I'm in an unfortunate position where I don't know how my powers work, but we'll find out.
Did he also shake Carter's and Fryer's hand as well?
No, he shook Carter's hand. Like, no one would want to shake Fryer's hand. Let's face it. Like, I could, I could get terribly infectious. But no, he shook Carter's hand as well. So maybe it is Carter. Yeah, that's true.
You come as a duo.
Yeah, maybe you have to shake both our hands like a double key save. This is getting completely off topic. What time is it? Because I need to go jump in the shower.
Yeah, no, all good. I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I mean, play well in Scotland. Hope you win. What's that?
I said I will do.
Yeah. Where are you playing? Prestwick, is it?
No.
Where are you playing?
Well, I'm not gonna say.
Oh, you're not allowed to say.
What if a load of 40-year-old men come down to watch? It's not gonna be good.
That's true. Very, very true. Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
Yeah. I learned this lesson from Niall Horan. Like, you can't post where you're at just in case it gets flooded with people.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, you do well in front of a crowd sometimes. That might put you in an advantage.
Oh no, I think it definitely would do, but more about leveling the playing field.
Yeah, fair enough. All right then. Well, that's 25 minutes. So
wonderful. Well, I'm gonna go bathe myself.
All right then. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and we'll go back to the guys.
Okay, go back to the guys. See you in a bit, guys. See you in a few days, guys.
Great. Brilliant. Yeah, quite an interesting little chat there with old Peter Finch.
Old.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
He'll
young
like that
but old. He'll like that, yeah. One thing I just want to point, bring to point there would be his comment about fear of going low. I found that was quite a poignant thing there, and clearly a mental battle that Pete is kind of facing at the moment, and just any golfer in general, the fear of going under your handicap and being on the 18th and being even if you're through 9 holes, for example, and you're 5 under your handicap, it's quite a daunting thing, even though you're playing your best golf you've ever played. It's a really interesting topic to bring up.
It's the same reason that when we go and play, a few of us will say to each other, "Don't tell me my score." I don't want to think about it, because as soon as I start thinking that I'm playing well, it's out the window, which has happened to Pete a lot of times while we've been filming him. So
yeah, exactly. And you mentioned it there, Kieran. It's not a case of just saying, scratch golfer is 5 under or pro is 5 under through 7 holes or whatever Pete was in Dubai. For a 20 handicap when they are significantly under.
Same job.
It's an interesting one as well, because one of the things that I started doing the last time I played, which helped a little bit, and Pete kind of started doing it as well, was the 3-hole sort of breaking it down, because then you're not necessarily focusing on so much on your score, but then also at the same time, technology now, it almost promotes you to keep your score. If you think about the watches and things like that, I know you can turn it off, but those kind of things are there. So when you you look for a yardage, but in the top right corner, your score, there's almost a little reminder all the time. And
15 over.
That could be an interesting point of not doing that, or not trying to, and that may be where that 3-hole kind of mindset comes from. If you're just kind of focusing in on small moments in the round and not the whole big picture, and I think you can do that very easily, especially when you double the first or something and you go, oh well, my round's done, I don't want to do it anymore. It's a tricky one, isn't it? And it's definitely something that Pete hopefully needs to improve on.
Where did he get that from? Was that a Sean Walsh thing?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it was from when we filmed in America, and they played a match. It was Sixes, I think it was called, or something like that, and basically it was broken down into 6 holes. But I think they went even smaller than that and just went 3 holes and then decided, okay, well, it's a little mini match every single time. And then once you get to the end of those 3 holes, you just restart and you go again. And that kind of way of thinking about it, I think is probably a good way to go because, like you say, it just takes you out of the bigger picture and those, that low score you're having and the one you're completely encapsulated now by that you've got to beat it and you've got to do the best you ever can. And sometimes maybe that just might take you away from the, doing that kind of feat that you're looking for. Definitely interesting. And if anyone else has got any thoughts of how you mentally go into a round, how when you find yourself doing really well, how do you kind of counteract that and not kind of get too ahead of yourself and all that kind of thing? Because we know as handicap golfers, you can play 16 holes of great golf and then on the 17th and 18th it blows up. Is it mental? Is it whatever it is? It's an interesting one.
So of the 3 of us, Kieran's the only person who's probably shot under par in his life. Do you want to tell us how it feels and how you deal with it? I mean, we won't get into the why word that that you're struggling with at the moment on the greens. But does your brain do something differently when you suddenly realize that you're way under where you should be?
Yeah, you're definitely it's definitely always in the back of your mind. As much as you try and not think about score. Score is such a vital part of game, especially when you're in competition. You're always thinking about it. It was the first time. Well, the only time I've done it was 4 under front 9, and then one over back 9. So it was, it was a pretty steady round. But sort of getting to sort of 15, 16, you're like, oh my god, am I going to do it? Those sorts of thoughts go into your head.
Yeah, but and when you're keeping your own card? What I want to know is when were you aware that you were playing really well and that it was going well? Yeah,
just after sort of 6 holes, I was like, right, I'm actually, everything's doing, I feel really good and putts are rolling in and stuff like that. So it was, but I never try and get too far ahead of myself. I'm always I always when I go into a competition, I always say I'm start 4 under par. So that's what my brain does. Where
you start 4 under par.
I start 4, so I'm 4 under par basically. That's what I start my round with every single time.
Okay, for context, why 4 under par?
Because of 4 handicap.
Because you handicapped as 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that means I start 16
exactly.
under par. I'm bloody good.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
It's a good way of thinking about it.
It's one way to think about it. Yeah, but it just shows and highlights how much golf can really, really be a mental game. Even happened last year for me. I was 1 over going to the 17th in a competition, and then I went double bogey. So I still shot my handicap, but you just kind of get a little. Things change in your head. You might not sort of think about it, but instinctively, things are changing. You might be a bit tighter on the swing. I remember being tighter on the swing on 17.
And tired by the time you get there. You're tired, and you can see the clubhouse and you can taste your pint.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're thinking about a lot of things, but then also the found respect of just shows how mentally great any of the tour pros are. And I mean, you can say any because any of those tour pros has the ability to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's endless for them. So the mindset is completely different for the tour pros. It's crazy.
And how does Pete apply that now? It's the annoying thing about Pete, we see regularly that he can do incredible things on a golf course, but then he lets his mind sometimes get in the way, which takes away from the stuff that you're like, how did a human make that happen with a golf ball? How does he take that mindset and move forward with it into another year of Quest for the Open, another year of playing in competitions, a mindset of not being scared of where he's at and not monitoring so closely the score on the card, but just how his game feels? How does he do that?
I don't know. There's probably many ways you can do it. I mean, I really enjoy listening to what Bryson said about when he was sort of practicing. He would play off the front tees. He does that now with obviously his Break 50 series. But growing up, he played from the front tees to know and practice his mind that he gets birdies. So, for Pete, it's not every day that Pete would have 5 birdies in a row. It's not every day that Pete will have 2 birdies in a row. So that way of so all that mindset is, he's like, oh, right, I've had 5 birdies in a row. What do I do now? You know, he's not used to
I've never
this.
been here before.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know, like all these tour pros can go on, you know, a 6-7 birdie run, and they'll be like, right, let's carry on, let's keep going, let's go deeper. So it's a completely, instead of going, whereas Pete's going, right, probably he's thinking, how do I maintain this? How do I keep that 5 under going?
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah. So
I wonder if his brain is a little like, what am I doing differently right now?
Exactly.
That means I'm like 5 birdies in a row.
Yeah.
And then immediately you start to analyze what you're doing differently, and it goes.
Yeah, I find it so interesting that like someone so good can do that and like have that kind of, because he clearly shows he's capable of it, but it's just about how we can also take that and make a round out of it. I mean, he still shot 2 under par, but like, you know, he said he was really annoyed coming off the golf course. So it's like it's really, really interesting. I find it. I find it.
And then I guess at what point do you then kind of put that? You know, obviously he's started 5 under and then walked off 3 shots worse than he was at a point in the course. At what point though do you go, that was because I mentally just blocked out and I really, or just that's how golf goes and you're not ever going to, you know, it's, there's always like levels to it of how tricky. I think the most important thing is, like you say, is that he proves that he can do it. And I think only until you put yourselves in those positions do you find out truly mentally where you're at. He's now discovered that from being in this position, and hopefully now we'll take the next steps forward. I know he's had conversations with people like Lee Crumbleholm and people, you know, sports psychologists. I don't think my AS level in psychology kind of puts me in the right position to like.
I've watched
give
enough.
a prognosis.
Enough, you know,
of,
like TikTok psychology to know what to say to him.
Just keep going. I don't know. I don't know what to
think
tell
good
you. Things.
Like it's easy.
But it's from my perspective anyway, like obviously taking away the even thoughts of fears of going low, like it's just exciting now to see him getting his swing and moving in the right direction. I think is probably the best thing to take away from it. I think there's been changes in his swing. There's been videos that we filmed in recent weeks and stuff where may have been a little bit of regression, and now we're seeing that like promotion back up again to where we know Pete can play, especially going into this time of year when all these comps are going to start ramping up and rolling in.
So don't panic if what you're seeing on Scratch Golfer and what you're seeing on Record Breakers or whatever is not what you're used to coming out of Peter Finch, because from what we're seeing on the non-camera side of his golf game, there is good things to come. Very good things to come, particularly for Quest for the Open. You like to say that competition mindset needs to kick in.
And maybe that's sort of they're going to be the catalyst for him, I guess, in that he needs to get his mind in that frame. You know, he has to move on to thinking about playing in competitions and how he's going to propel himself. And even going off the back of last year, you know, he won last year. He won this event in Dubai. You know,
did he win twice?
No, I think he won the once. I think he was. He was close to winning a lot. He shot 3 under, 4 under in English Champs qualifying. Like, he put good rounds together, and he played some of the best golf that, especially when I've been filming, like since I've been here for 5 years. So he knows it's there. It's now just going into the season, making sure that he puts all of this into the right place, and then also improving on what he's learning in this process right now.
Yeah. I think the you know, we can only encourage you so much to, you know, bear with him as he goes through these changes, because, you know, we don't want to make excuses for him because he's a professional golfer and he is very good, but, you know, he's changed his swing a little bit. You know, he had a lesson where he's gone through setup, and his setup it may not look drastically different, but if we can find the before and after from Jacob's Quest for the Open video, like his setup is drastically different. Like, he has been grinding. The ball is changed. The clubs have all changed.
Whole new set of clubs.
You know, he's putting it all together, and what it means for Quest for the Open is that this could be his year, because things are looking good.
Yeah, and hopefully, like, you know, last year he, as you know, as you said, Jacob, probably had the best year in terms of playing last year. But I would say that he peaked a little bit too
early.
soon. Yeah. Whereas now, hopefully, he can kind of peak at a nice time and peak at, you know,
maybe 2 weeks,
exactly,
just before 3 weeks before the Open.
Yeah, and that's when he gets in his peak, and, you know,
that would
like,
be good, wouldn't it?
We'll line that one up.
Has he said where he's going to qualify yet, or is he still thinking about it?
I don't think he has. The thing is, I remember when he moved to Hesketh, and what his whole thing was that he said that he has good memories there. Now, I don't know if that's been completely eradicated in the space of 12 months, but the reason he went there in the first place is because I think he said he even won an event there, like when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So is this is again on the mental side of it. Is his mental capacity, is it strong enough now to say, I still have good memories there, forget about last year. Last was just, an anomaly that I could have done something about, but it just happens, it's golf, and goes back again? Or does he move on somewhere else? I mean, you've got a place like Caldy. Does he go back up to Scotland and go to Kilmac Barassi again, or goes to there to then do Dundonald and stuff, of course, that he does know? It's interesting to know where he's going to go, actually.
Yeah, I think the Hesketh has some positives because we've seen him shoot pretty well around there before. And it's easy enough, really, for us to go over there multiple times before he qualifies there. Places like up in Scotland, a little more difficult because, it's a real long drive. If he wants to go and play Saturday, Sunday on a weekend to kind of like, grind it out and plan course strategy and stuff, it's a little more difficult if the course is a lot further away.
Yep.
But yeah, will he be able to stand on that first tee at Hesketh and not think about hooking it right?
Yeah, that's
Hooking it left.
Hooking it left. Like, will his brain be in a strong enough position at that point of the year to overcome, the video that we make him rewatch regularly while we're editing Quest for the Open? Like, how do we?
I think that, like, if I was to put my 2 pence, and I don't think going back to Hesketh would be a good idea.
Okay.
I don't think, because, he's a golfer. He is a great golfing brain in terms of, like, he remembers holes, he remembers things. So there's absolutely no way he's not going to remember an ounce of that round. So I really think, a new start, fresh start, somewhere that potentially he's never even done a competition there. So it is just fresh, clean slate sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that's.
Do you think we need to go there multiple times beforehand?
100%. And that should start to be his. He shouldn't do it too much. You can over prepare for a golf course, but I definitely think that like 3 or 4, maybe more, 4 or 5, rounds of golf before, just to really get home in enough that where to go, but not enough to be like
scared of bits.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think a fresh start would be good for him, for sure.
And has he hinted to you where it might be? Because I know people want to know where he's going to qualify. First of all, so that, there's a little less ambiguity about how Quest for the Open looks, but also so they can come and watch.
Yeah. No, I don't think he has yet.
No, okay.
But,
we'll let you know. When he decides, we'll let you know on a Quest for the Open video.
I'm sure he'll say it.
Maybe we could get him to add it into the most recent, or the Quest for the Open that I'm currently editing.
Yeah.
Maybe
So it could be a confirmation coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
We are... Well,
speaking of going low,
in the aid of helping Pete in his mental state, we thought as a team we would do what we can to learn about how to go low. And in doing so, what we are doing at the minute is, as a 4-ball, as a scramble, trying to break 60.
Yeah.
Mick, tell us a little bit more.
Okay, so what we've done, there are 5 of us in the office who aren't Peter Finch. Kieran, Mick, Jacob, Sam and David. We have access to a few golf courses around the Manchester area, as us 3 are. Well, Jacob is very soon signing his deal with his golf club. Announcement coming soon. I don't know if that's worthy of an announcement of where you're joining.
Yeah, I'll drop that. Don't worry.
Drop it. We'll make a hype reel.
I know people are waiting.
Yeah. So we have access to some golf courses, which is great. And what we've set ourselves a challenge as, partly as a an opportunity for us to play golf and be social with each other, doing something that doesn't involve making videos, but partly also like we get to go and do the thing that we love doing.
Yeah, we have a written rule: we can't interact with each other if it's not got a golf club. We are going to try throughout the summer as a 4-ball scramble to try and break 60. Now this is Kieran's idea. Where did you get this idea from, and what are the rules? You did it with one of your friends.
Yeah, so me and my friend Josh, he's like a 28 handicapper, plays very, very rarely. I just sort of said to him, do you know what? Do you want to just play a scramble today? And we'll have like we have to take 9 drives each. So for us, we have to take 4 drives each, and then 2 people can have either 5 or 1 person can have 6.
Right.
And honestly, like last year, it was my most favourite round of golf I've ever played because we had so much fun. We were always, we never were apart. We were always walking, talking, don't often get to see him anyway. So it was really nice to just catch up with him. And we shot 6 under and he's, we got off the golf course and we were like, this is it was the best thing. Like it was so fun.
Why do more people not do this?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he just putted like an absolute god, and it was just like. He was. I did all the stuff before, and then he just honestly, I cannot describe. I wouldn't know how many feats of putts he did, but he did so much. It was, and that was kind of the fun bit about it. So I think it's a really nice thing to do where, we can all get involved and we're all a team for that thing. And it's, we've got a target, and hopefully by the end of the summer we'll achieve it.
So we're one round in. We played Withington, which is my home golf course, and we shot 64.
64. Yeah.
We had a long birdie putt to shoot 63, and if you've seen on the Rough Cut socials or on TikTok or wherever, you will have seen that Kieran is struggling a little bit with his putting. I don't know if there's a club change in your future somewhere, or if there's a lesson in your future somewhere.
It just seems to happen at the start of every season. I just seem to.
So this is like a seasonal thing.
Yeah, just all it requires is me to just go to a putting green for a day and just like muscle memory that back. It's just something that I always.
You've just forgotten how.
I just always seem to lose it. I don't know. I just get to the ball and I just sort of yip at it. So
didn't you say that when people are listening on their way to the golf course? Sorry.
Yeah.
Shank. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, no. So it's a real thing that I have that I struggle with. So last year I did it. I spent a day on Didsbury's putting green, and then by the end of it I was all right. So.
Okay, so have you thought about a lab?
I haven't thought about a lab.
Have you thought about?
I recommend it.
Have you thought about Scotty Cameron? Yeah. Like a nicely.
It's more that like it's not necessarily the club. It's just the.
You've thought about drawing a line on your ball.
No, it's just it's the hand. Like the hands go. Like I just do that, and so it's nothing to do with a club. I don't think.
So it's just practice then.
It's just practice and getting that sort of muscle memory back in. Like putting is such a. It's such a it's a tough thing anyway, but it's like it's I don't know, it's a small movement
and it's like just repetition.
Yeah, repetition. So
you're going to be wearing a like mark into the front of your putter before you even go out.
Exactly.
Looking forward to that.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
So we'll do a before picture of your putter.
Yeah.
Then by the end of the season, I want a tiger shaped wear mark in there.
Oh my god! I wish I could do it. Yeah.
So we've got a team. Between the five of us, we've got a team that can probably achieve it.
Yeah, definitely.
We can do it.
You and Sam quite long off the tee. Jacob's short game is unbelievable at times.
You could have stopped that. Unbelievable.
Yeah. There's some good stuff in there. So we've got distance, we've got touch. The putting is looking pretty good. So we can definitely do it. 64 is our first one. We're going to give it another go.
Great start.
Sometime in the near future. And if you, as a 4-ball scramble, want to challenge us to see if you can break 60 legally without cheating before the end of the summer, put in the comments, tag your friends on social or whatever, because we want to see if you can do it as well. We're going to try and break 60 by the end of the summer as a 4-ball scramble, and you can do it too.
With Can Do.
And that's not a paid ad. Other toilet wipes are available?
Sure.
Sure. What's this about Tiger Woods' dating life in here, Kieran? Because I don't think I've seen this yet.
No, this is honestly just but Pete kind of said it to us and put it in the group chat this morning about how Tiger Woods is dating Vanessa Trump. I don't know if you guys saw it. I saw the post of it last night. The weird post that was like,
on Tiger's socials.
Love is in the air. Please respect this time. We're trying to. And I didn't know who that lady was. I didn't know who the lady was.
I didn't.
And so I didn't really think anything of it. I thought, great. He's having, obviously, time at the moment for Tiger is probably a little bit difficult. The passing of his mum and rupturing his left Achilles. It's probably mentally he's probably not at a great place at the moment. So I just thought it was quite nice to see that he's obviously got a lady and all this sort of stuff. But finding out that it was Vanessa Trump, who is Kai Trump's mum.
Yeah.
Which is, obviously she's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So
is Kai Trump's next video, I play 18 holes against my stepdad?
that probably is it.
Can Pete start a relationship with Fleetwood?
Let's open up the relationship a little bit.
Like a lovely internet bromance.
Yeah.
Just trying to think how we can game the
with
system. With my
best friend.
Yeah. Why not?
There's a loophole in there that we can try and find.
We got to try and game the system somehow.
Yeah. For
That
sure.
sounds like a video waiting to happen.
Yeah, it does a little bit, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't think Tiger. Do you think Tiger's going to be at the Masters?
No. I think he might turn up.
Yeah, because obviously he is still there. He is still in as a player. But
I don't think he makes the cut if he plays. Unfortunately,
we're not getting into that. We're just. Do you think he'll be there?
he will exist.
He'll probably.
Do you think he'll play?
No, he won't play.
No.
He might go and walk around a bit, but
Yeah, it's interesting.
sorry, he's got something else to keep himself busy now.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If he had any, isn't his thing? I will continue playing. I will play if I think I have it in me to win.
Yeah.
And you think he's got it in to win right now? Probably not. So
Probably not,
maybe he
no,
doesn't tee it up just to save his. It doesn't he have the most consecutive cuts made at the Masters streak? Was that
Potentially.
he did. I don't know if that ended.
Adam Scott take it off him or something? But anyway, he's not going to play if he doesn't think he can.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, whatever.
No, it's,
But most likely someone from Europe will win.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Europe are dominating every flaming golf tournament in the world right now.
Yeah.
exactly.
So
they
good
are.
luck to
Anything
USA.
new? Come on.
Yeah. Where did Viktor Hovland come from? Because he. Well, I know where he's from. You know.
He's from a country called Norway.
Okay, tell me more.
It's a little bit further up in the world. You might not. You have been there.
I have been there.
You have been there.
Yeah.
You actually went to the golf course where he has the course record. If you didn't
Yeah,
know.
it was cold.
it was cold.
And we spent 16
and it was
hours on
bright
it.
all the time.
It was really good.
It's if there's anything that could epitomise what golf is about, I think him winning is that exactly that. Like shooting 80 at the Players, like 6-7 days earlier, and then winning on the PGA Tour. It's just the most insane thing. Like everyone's been I'll say everyone, but like I've been watching Viktor now and he's one of my favourite golfers. So I'm so glad that he's back to doing what he does. And for a Europe perspective, obviously in a Ryder Cup year. But he just fell off the face of the earth. Like he completely disappeared. I know he's gone through so many different changes with his coach. Like Joe May was like in, out, left, right, coming
Shake
back.
it all about.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's the hokey cokey.
it kind of then comes back to this conversation, I guess. Comes back to this conversation, I guess, of like he was so dominant and so good in the world of golf, and in a position where you looked at him and went, "Why would you want to change anything?" Yeah, all he wanted to do was just to make his swing look a little bit nicer and maybe not hit this kind of like weird pull fade thing that he hits all the time. He putted amazing. That was one thing. He putted, I think he gained over 2 strokes on the green, which is obviously going to help you a lot.
Yeah.
But even around that golf course, like it's a tough golf course. And that back 9, what was he, on the 14th? I think he was 2 shots back to Justin Thomas. Again, from a European perspective, it's amazing to see. I know he's a very likeable guy. But where that came from, where he pulled that out, I will never understand.
He had it on deck, and he was just saving it for a slightly weaker field.
And even,
so he could go out
even
and
after the
batter it.
round, he was like, I hit some flaming awful shots, and I still won the golf tournament. But, do you think he won it, or do you think Justin lost it?
I think Justin Thomas has also had up and downs.
Yeah.
And I think if he continues to play the way he's playing now, that can only mean good things for Team Europe.
Yeah.
But it's tricky because you can see it in both of them that either of them could have won that tournament if one of them had a stinker.
Yep.
And I think Hovland just had far fewer stinkers than Justin Thomas did. He just kept playing well and made smart choices and got the win.
Well, he even said it in his Instagram post. Stupid game. It's
it honestly is.
It goes from 3 missed cuts to a win. It's like it's crazy. Like he again, that probably clearly going through a mental battle. I reckon. I believe in terms of probably not from a scoring perspective, but just from his swing. Clearly, he is not happy with it and doesn't really know how to get over it. So.
He appears to be slightly over it.
I was going to say, and Pete kind of alluded to this as well. I wouldn't say that we've got Viktor Hovland back.
No,
I wouldn't say at all. And that's what kind of Pete said as well. I just think that he's just kind of got obviously putted very well. So it's going to be an interesting one for Hovland. It's really really.
Hopefully he keeps on going because I would say he's one of my favourite golfers and I love to see it. But it was a out of nowhere moment.
Yeah, he does need to play himself. Well, he doesn't need to play himself into the automatic positions for the Ryder Cup because I imagine if he doesn't, then there's a strong argument for a captain's pick on on that front.
I think he moved up 89 places.
Yeah, I was going to
this
say
win.
that, but winning a PGA Tour event
It
probably
will do
jumps
that.
you up quite.
Yeah,
a
we'll
lot.
do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Talking about someone who has made cuts
Good.
and made another one.
Your barber.
Yep. Luke Kwon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a man.
Played on the Asian tour again. Maybe, what was his fourth start he's now had on the tour.
Third, yeah.
And made another cut, which again, to anyone who's like watching and going like, oh, because I think he finished tied 40th or something like that.
Tied 40th, yeah.
You can put weight on that or be like, oh, to make the cut in the field that he was playing in is remarkable. And the finish he had on the Friday to make the cut as well.
Yeah.
What was it, Kieran? I can't remember.
Well, he was 3 under through 4 holes.
Unbelievable.
But he needed to be 3 under through 4.
So
and he went for it.
Yeah, he started, I believe, the day 2 over, and the cut line was 1 under. Got down to level par, kind of sort of 9th, 10th hole, and then had a double bogey on, I think, 12 or something like that. And then the final four, I mean, he was honestly the driver all day. He was just like duck hooking left. It was awful with the driver. Wasn't playing well, but scrambling brilliant. And yeah, birdied the last 3 of the 4 holes. And
Unbelievable.
you know, really, really cool. And like you say, the field, like I was sort of going for the leaderboard, just doing a little bit of research. You've literally got a live field in there.
Yeah.
It's literally a live field with obviously some other guys in there as well. Like it's very, very strong field, and really pleased for him.
Because one of the things as well with this event was the top 3 got a place in the Open.
Yeah.
So obviously that's
Yeah.
why a lot of the guys went and played. So
In the Open.
In the Open.
Wow.
So it was, I think, Patrick Reed, Jason Kokrak, and Carlos Ortiz. I think
Carlos
the 3.
Ortiz won it.
What a four-ball that is, by the way.
Also, side point, Sergio played in it as well.
He did, yeah.
He finished 4th.
Yeah.
He missed a putt on the par 5 last from about 4 foot. If he'd made the putt, he would have finished tied 3rd with Kokrak and then got the place in the Open because he was a higher world ranking.
Yeah.
So if you remember last year, like Sergio obviously went through qualifying, didn't get through final, like to get to the Open. He had a 4-footer to get in, and he missed.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because his run, obviously, he was it stupid amount, like 19 something till 2022, I think, how many times he started in the Open, and then obviously last couple of years he's not been there. So,
But do you think it come back straight back around to, I wonder if he had in his mind, if I make this, I'll get into the Open.
Well, yeah, exactly.
it's all down mental, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
It's all down to that mental.
Honestly, he's my sneaky pick for any major this year. I'm going to back him on every.
He's just
single
got to get in
major.
it,
Yeah.
and then
I'm going to back him. The
once he's
Masters-
in, watch out.
Exactly. Yeah, like he's
The
obviously
Masters is a problem.
He's obviously going to be at the Masters.
Yeah,
So
I think you just upset it, and like Scotty and Bryson and Rory are all fighting for second.
Mate, he's playing so well. He's playing such good golf at the moment. So I'm really, and even for a place in Team
Ryder
Europe,
Cup.
as a captain's
Yeah.
pick, highest score.
Okay, so it comes down to captain's picks are all gone, right? There's one captain's pick left. You've got to take either Viktor Hovland or Sergio Garcia.
Yeah.
Based on what we've seen so far this season, who do you take?
Oh, it's tricky.
right now, I take Sergio.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Because I agree. I think what Pete said earlier and what Kieran alluded to is that the Victor we have at the minute is not back. It's still going to be streaky. It's going to go up and down all season. If he can continue and hold on to it, I would obviously much prefer Victor Speed there.
With the Hovland and Aberg sort of.
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
There's a
I-
partnership there, and
What hole is it? The 5th hole at Withington. The pin was tucked like back right, and I had a putt that was like right down the bottom.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself in that moment about that Hovland chip, because my putt would have had to go
Had to
like
sort of go over
through
the
the rough
fringe and
it
yeah.
breaks left, so I'd have to hit it through the rough and get it to break left towards the hole. And I thought, do you know what? If I had any control over my low point, I could chip this over the
I
fringe
could
right now.
gauge the bounce. That would be fine.
But like a moment like that, and the way, you're right. The way him and Oberg played together, was
Yeah, he just-
that must secure your spot for the next one.
You have to think about the saying is like, don't fix what's not broke or whatever it is. And I would probably take every single player in the 2023 Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
I would just go again.
Just go again, yeah.
I can't think of anyone in there that other than potentially like a Sergio, who could really come in and make a big difference. That
Who?
Well, it was a question.
from Rasmus, maybe.
It was a question I put to you guys, obviously before, saying like, is there from both American and European standpoint of like, is there any rookies that will kind of show their way? You mentioned Rasmus. He is currently in that top 6. Obviously, Nikolai played in Rome.
Yeah.
Thomas Dietrich, he's also in there.
Yeah.
He's been
again, it's
playing
about
solid golf.
It's about
but,
consistency again, isn't it? Coming up to
you
it.
know, winning a PGA Tour event has, you know, promoted him in after winning at the Phoenix Open.
Yeah.
So if he can withhold, I would like to see him there. I'm a big fan of Thomas Dietrich. I think he's got a great swing. I think he'd do well. It's hard this year because, like I say, they've changed the rankings now. It's not through European points list and world ranking.
Listen, if Team USA have harder decisions than Team Europe have, because you know we can captain's pick Rahm in if we really need to.
Yeah.
If they don't take Bryson,
Yeah.
then we've got a distinct advantage.
Well, I suppose in terms of difficult picks or difficult decisions to make, it is still, I guess, this idea of do you pick live guys or not?
Yeah.
If you go from the European side of it, you're looking at your Hattons, your Rahms, your Garcias. Really, there's not much more outside of that.
Yeah. Who
Hatton's
else?
already in at the minute. He's already second in the. So he's already in.
Yeah.
Rahm is the natural. Like if you don't pick it, you can't.
Yeah,
not
he's just got to have some high
and then
finishes.
and
in
then
the
you say
majors.
if Sergio continues playing well,
Yeah.
obviously record point scorer for Europe, pedigree in the competition.
Yeah.
From the American side of it,
Get Faldo back in there. I'm kidding.
from the American side of it, you have Bryson
Yeah.
naturally. You have Brooks. You're
Not been playing particularly well.
but not,
though.
yeah, but again, you know, you
Yeah.
don't have
Turn up in a major, turn up in a couple of majors
When
and you're
major
in.
Brooks start, when that's the part of the season starts, I'm sure he'll.
When that 2 iron comes out.
Exactly, when that time comes. I just think that, like, you know, from a experience point of view as well, I think that Europe genuinely are not going to have the troubles with the picks this year in terms of. I think that we're not going to see too much change from the Team Europe that won in Rome.
Well, Fitzpatrick won't play.
Well, potentially, yeah, this is
That's true, yeah.
potentially, yeah. But then also, I'm looking at like the Team USA one, and I can see some big changes. Obviously, they on paper do still have the strongest team, and I do believe that they have the biggest hitters. You know, with your Collins, your Schefflers, all those sorts of things. They have the stronger team for sure. But I'd say when it gets a little bit to the low side, that those are going to be very interchangeable. And I think that it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so people like, you know, if Spieth can come back,
Yeah,
Bryson.
Brian Harmon. I was going to say,
yeah,
but
Harmon should be out. I think
out.
Sam Burns had an okay 3 days, but was also not particularly effectual.
But then you're coming in and you're bringing in rookies into, which is, you know, going to be one of the most anticipated Ryder Cups in recent years in terms of this is at Bethpage Black in New York, and you're coming up against a very experienced, very hot European side, and you know. Are Team USA gonna be able to deal with it? You know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's a lock.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, honestly,
I think
like
it's a lock.
yeah. So it's
Oh, your American lingo.
Yeah.
you know, like
That's
the,
a lock.
We're in the US of A, taking their pants down and taking home the trophy. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like the home advantage is they're going to have home advantage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough at the moment. But
Hey, JJ Spawn's in the places at the minute, so we're in trouble.
Well,
We're in trouble.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
he's only got to do it for 3 days,
Very true.
which he can do.
That is also very true.
There we
I mean,
go.
he did it for 4, kind of. It was the 5th day that got him.
Rory just
The 5th day.
The 5th day of the
Just one
tournament.
too many.
Yeah.
Just one too many.
Yeah, and he looked at Rory's bag. Rory played some tricks. Gamesmanship is already happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so no guest of player because Pete's not here. We could do one without him. We won't. Shall we go back to work?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Or shall we?
Yeah.
This is another thing, right? When Pete's away, why do we not just like? Yeah. The videos are getting made, and then just go and play golf.
Yeah, well,
the sun's out.
Yeah.
What time do you reckon you could skip out of the office and go and play golf?
Well, like, yeah, if you know,
What if we had like a 1 o'clock tea time? Is that pushing it?
it probably is a little bit, but like 2 o'clock's fine.
2 o'clock?
I think this is a good test to see if Pete actually listens back to the
This is
podcast.
what I'm-
If
this is
he
what I'm
comes in on
hoping, yeah,
Wednesday and
yeah.
goes, have you guys been...
Should we book a tea time right now,
Yeah.
live on the podcast?
Right, we are
good.
going to go play golf right now.
yeah.
It's 12:48. Okay, we're leaving work right now.
Yeah.
Pete, do something about it.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Come and stop us.
It happened yesterday, so
do people know what Pete's playing in right now?
They did say it with Matt and and Carter infiltrated the podcast. They were asking him, "Do you want to go to breakfast?" And they all come in and barge in. They didn't know that they were doing a podcast. So but obviously there was one person missing as well on that. And that would be Rick.
Socials,
Shields.
I think, have shown that stuff's
100%.
happening.
But the reunions. It seems like the reunion is back. So yeah,
I don't want to say it was us that made this happen. It was us that made this happen. Let's be fair.
Yeah,
we pushed it to do with, and maybe a little bit. We did ask Rick to do it last year. That's all I'm going to say.
We did. You see that video at the end of the year?
Yeah, that was meant to have Rick in it.
Should have been a 4-ball.
That's okay.
Book the team.
It's okay.
Anyway, video that though.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, we're going now. Bye now.
See ya.
Love you. Bye.